Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be True Heel Heat. SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat. What's up? True Heel Heat. All hands on me.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Hill Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch for Rated Raw Review, episode 121, Austin's Vision. Reviewing last night's May 25th, Memorial Day 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw on Netflix as only we can. And to do that this week, no Top Guy JJ. He gave us fair warning he would not be here on this week's show, so I had to call in the big guns. And no, I'm not talking about Romeo. No, I am talking about the main man over at False Finish. Wrestling reporter extraordinaire Corey Hayes has returned to the True Hill YouTube channel. First time since WrestleMania reviews. Good to have you, sir. How you doing?
It's good to be here. It's always good to be here. You know that. I'm doing good. As you know, a lot has changed recently, but yeah, I'm doing real good.
Yes, sir. You had a lot of change. You are. I usually would introduce you representing another outlet, but you started up your own thing. How's everything been going with that? The new change now, running things at False Finish.
It's been been refreshing. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a little bit over a week now since we launched the website, because False Finish has been around for a little while now. It's been around for like 4 years, and the Instagram and the Facebook have big followings on there, but the Twitter really never got the attention. So that's going to be where I'm going to be putting my attention to, is building up the Twitter side. So it's been going good though. A lot of different people have been reaching out to me, congratulating me, asking how they can contribute, can they come be part of the team, all kinds of stuff. We're trying to set up a lot right now. There's some things that we're trying to do in the background outside of professional wrestling. The wrestling is going to be me. I'm going to be focused on the wrestling side, but there's some other stuff that we're trying to do in the background that hopefully we can announce soon, and people should be on the lookout for that. But I'm looking forward to talking about last night's episode here. But before we do jump into that, I saw this morning the Progress Wrestling was acquired by Big Damo and Nikki. Congratulations to them. Good luck to everyone involved with that. I was able to put that out this morning along with Progress. So congratulations to them. I think that's going to be a big business venture for them, because with that they also acquired Defy Wrestling. So Defy and Progress, I think they're going. That's two great wrestling minds. We don't have many women in charge of professional wrestling, so it's good to see Nikki getting involved in the ownership aspect. Then of course we had I posted a little update today that it does look like Enzo Amore is indeed headed back to WWE. A lot of people are under the impression that he's going there. Selfmade had the initial report. Ibu had that initial report that Enzo was in talks with them during WrestleMania week. Then I found out last week that he's at the Performance Center. He was backstage at NXT. Talent say that he's been very open to talking with them. Like, he's been very friendly and very open to talking with them. So it seems like since the last time that we saw Enzo Amore on WWE television, a lot has changed with him. He's matured more. And I've seen it. I've heard that he really has across the industry. People say that he's definitely feels like a different person than when he got into the industry, and when he went on that downward slope for a little bit with the release and everything that came out of that release. But it looks like things are back in good graces now. I don't know if he is officially signed, but all signs are pointing towards him going back to WWE. And Fightful had their report yesterday that said promoters seem to believe that he's going back too. So good on him. It's 2026. We'll see how it turns out in 2026. But hey, I'm not opposed to people coming in and seeing if they can still do it at this point in time. So.
Yeah, about the Big Damo and Nikki Cross getting Progress. I'm a big Progress guy. I went to their show when first time they were in New York in 2017. I've been to a bunch of the Electric Ballroom shows over like the past year, so I was very happy to see that. It's a great time for them to kind of have this new era of Progress under Damo and Nikki Cross. So I'm interested in following along and seeing that. You can see Progress over on Triller.tv. And then as far as Enzo, everybody knows if they saw the flagship podcast this past Saturday, I think that this is a money move for the current era of WWE, where it is catchphrase,
entertainment
in TikTok videos and consumption like that. It's like I think it was Ibu who first did the report, but he also had a good analogy on it, where Enzo and Kaz were basically got power forwards in the 2010s that were shooting threes from like 30 feet. The not knowing that a few years that would be the hit style thing. That's Enzo and Kaz. Enzo and Kaz coming back now, they're gonna be probably more over than they were when they initially got called up to the main roster 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think if Big Bill does come over and they do the reunion for Enzo and Cass, I think they are in 2026 still going to be a big hit, because as soon as that music hits and then you get the my name is Enzo Amore and I am, and then you already know with the WWE crowds, they like to react to these chants and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a big hit. No, even if Big Bill doesn't come over, I think Enzo will still get over with his ability on the microphone and his catchphrase. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But we're going to talk more about that this weekend on the flagship podcast. But we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on the video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. I want to thank you all who has supported us throughout Double or Nothing week. We capped things off yesterday with our AEW Double or Nothing review. Myself, Top Guy JJ, True Draw Josh, and John Escudero breaking everything down that went down on what a lot of people are calling one of the greatest AEW pay-per-views of all time. So go over and check that out if you haven't already. And of course, if you're watching this video, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about last night's Monday Night Raw. You can also sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you. Hear your thoughts on last night's show. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel in the best way possible, you could do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. You can also hit the join button and become a member of the channel, like our newest member, Skate Tune 2431. Thank you so much for being a member of the channel. You get in-chat perks. You get to be a part of the conversation a little bit more, like our good friend Alan Banky, who is happy. He says, what's up? Not Top Guy JJ this week. Top Guy JJ's got the week off, but we'll say it's Corey, he said. He says, the Knicks on the way to the finals. I'm happy for the Knicks fans. I'm also happy for myself because I am not a Knicks fan, and I find the Knicks fan base kind of obnoxious. I'm so happy I'm not in New York City right now.
They've been waiting 27 years, so I'll let them have it. I'll let them.
They would be celebrating like this if they won the first game of the first round. So that is why I can't.
The Knicks are the NBA equivalent of the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys won their first playoff game against my Buccaneers a few years ago in quite some time, and it's pretty much been my whole life. They haven't gone to the Super Bowl either, so congrats to the Knicks on finally making it back to the promised land.
There you go. Yes, and everyone like the video. We appreciate any of the support in the chat, and if you're watching on demand as well. We got Alan who says hi, Corey, showing you some love. He says sorry you had to watch Raw last night. we choose to watch Raw, sir. We got Vala who says, hey, sub and follow False Finish on all the platforms that you can. Yes, go out there and support Corey. He's always supporting us here, so we always support him back. That's how it works, y'all. We got Alan who says SP3, I would say sorry. I'm sorry you had to watch Raw, but at this point you're just numb to bad wrestling. Yeah, it was tough. I should have listened to Corey. That was another thing I wanted to bring up before we get into the show, because if I would have listened to Corey all those months ago, I probably wouldn't have got so annoyed when I'm watching the show and I'm getting ads for the first time in months since I've been over here in the UK. I was just like, I literally had to go back and watch the first matchup, Corey, because I got so annoyed when I'm seeing ads from the US. It's not even like if they gave me ads that was local, it was straight up WWE sponsored US ads, and I was just like, I had to take down my tweet because I got in a little bit of heat from it, but yeah, I don't think the US ads were supposed to air. I think they were supposed to be regionalized ads. I think that was a Netflix mistake. But yeah,
little by little, they're rolling them out in every single region. Luckily for me, using my VPN, it didn't have any ads, so I am 100% perfect. I got to watch Joe Hendry. I got to watch the interviews, all that good stuff that we can talk about.
Nice. We got Dion who says, "What's up, SP3 Cory in chat? Looks like the Vision curse continues. It does seem like a curse at this point. Like this is just the four out of 5 members getting hurt. Like thankfully, Braun Breaker was able to come back pretty fast from the sports hernia, but 4 out of 5, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. The only one that hasn't been injured is Paul Heyman. Remember, Austin Theory was injured before he joined.
Yeah, he was coming back from injury.
Yeah. So just remember that he was injured before he joined Division. So everybody except for Paul Heyman has suffered an injury so far.
It's true. We got Love Dog Avery who says, "So how many teams are WWE looking to bring in?" You probably know better than me, Corey.
Do I really want to go into this right now? Because I did have that report last week that they were looking to revamp the tag team division after letting go of quite a few tag teams with their batch of releases and then letting the New Day walk due to money issues. But there was a report yesterday that came out from Body Slam that FTR is in their option year with AEW right now, and WWE has had preliminary interest through other channels, not officially. So yes, I can confirm that WWE does have interest in FTR. I said it on the timeline yesterday too. I don't believe that FTR will leave AEW ever. I think that's where they're going to stay. So FTR is one of the tag teams. Enzo and Cass is another tag team. They've had their eyes on the Righteous for quite some time. I'm not sure exactly where the Righteous stand with their contract in TNA right now, but they wanted them before they signed with TNA. They still have their eyes on the Righteous. Obviously, the Knockout Brothers were on their radar this year. Selfmade reported that earlier this year before they re-signed with New Japan. They're looking at bringing in quite a few for less money than they did with the other teams that they had under contract. Do I think it makes sense? No. You had a perfectly good tag team division, and you fumbled it by running a 6-month program with the MFT and the Wyatt Six. That took all of the credibility away from the Wyatt Six. It really, really hurt that group, which is why they unfortunately got let go. There was nothing else that they could have done to recover from that. Then you got rid of one half of GOD. So there goes another tag team that you could have potentially had. It's mind-boggling that TKO is in this era of, hey, we're gonna try and pay off our debt. So hey, can you guys take this money? Or hey, we're sorry, we got to let you go now. So there was quite a. It doesn't make sense. I can understand the aspect of, hey, we can pay these other teams less money to come in and be on our TV programs now. I get that aspect from a business because you're saving the money that you had originally for these other people, but I just don't get it. You had the perfect division going and you blew it up. You let go of one of the greatest tag teams of all time in Motor City Machine Guns, which obviously it's pretty much looking like they're going over to AEW now when their 90 days are up. You let go of one of the greatest stables, one of the greatest factions of all time, 2/3 of it. You let go of Kofi and Austin. You let them go due to asking them to take a pay cut, which stupid.
Just re-signed them.
Last year, you just gave them a new contract with a lot more money because you valued them. So why the hell did you ask them to take a pay cut? It's mind-boggling. There's so many decisions lately from the TKO regime, not the WWE side, but the TKO side, that make me scratch my head and be like, you're ruining my experience as a fan of this. And if I didn't cover it, I really wouldn't want to watch it. I'll tell you that. So.
Yeah. We got King Davion. It says Double or Nothing 2026 was so awesome, main. We also got Sanjo, who says, I stand by what I said about Double or Nothing pay-per-view. This past Sunday night is a 10 out of 10 show. The first time ever, Corey, that we've done one of our pay-per-view reviews where everyone was unanimous 10 out of 10.
I sat there for the entire 5 hours and said to myself, this is one of, if not the greatest pay-per-view that they have ever put out, start to finish. The buy-in was fun. I enjoyed the Divine Dominion against Zeta Steel and Viva Van. If Zeta could have lasted 14 more seconds, they would have got a tag team championship opportunity.
I'm sure we have all said that to ourselves once upon a time. We can only last 14 more seconds.
I love Shane Taylor Promotions, so that was a fun little 10-person tag for me there. Some craziness came out of that one. The ops and the Death Riders, and then of course the main card. What a show! The Owen Hart Cup tournament matches, the championship matches, and then that main event, man. That main event, the shit that they did in that main event. But now we got three-time AEW World Champion Maxwell
3 by 30. What was your match of the night from Double or Nothing?
Takeshita and Okada.
Seems like that's everybody's. That's one of the best matches of the year.
People like to say that Okada is washed up, but that is far from the truth. When that man chooses to lock in, this is something that they've wanted to do for a long time. We all know that. They've been teasing this match legitimately for a long, long time. And they put it on this pay-per-view with that hot crowd. The crowd at the Louis Armstrong Stadium just added to the entire atmosphere and the energy. So I 100% was locked in for this show. I sat there after and I was like, how do I go to sleep after watching that? Because I got to work, but how do I go to sleep after watching such a incredible pay-per-view and reading the timeline? I was reading everything and reading all these people are like, I just watched AEW for the first time, and this just, I'm like, I've been watching AEW for 7 years, guys. It's been up and down, but right now it's going like this, and I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing from them. Tomorrow we have that 3-hour TV special once again from Philadelphia. We got the Dynamite Collision 3-hour TV special. Hoping that TK drops some announcements today about it, at least.
Hopefully, some of these people that were on the pay-per-view get cleared to compete on.
Yeah, because he was talking about it, and in the media scrum, he said, "Yeah, everybody's lined up outside of the medical getting evaluated right now because everybody took some bumps." But yeah, it was a very solid pay-per-view, and I think this weekend we're in for another treat too. With AAA, the Noche de los Grandes, you have that, the Mascara versus Mascara match. Oh my goodness, that's another subject for another day that I would love to get into. The way that they built that match up from the potential.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it because I was thinking about doing a preview for that. So
and then Sunday, obviously, the big one that we'll talk about some of the matches from the Raw review right now about some of the matches that are coming up on Sunday. But yeah, it was good. I agree with the comments that Double or Nothing, 20 thumbs up. Not
Absolutely.
2, 20 thumbs up.
Rachel saying, hi guys, I thought Cody versus Gunther was going to main event at Clash since he's on the poster. Very telling. Do you think Gunther wins? Not that I care. The feud is more about Sami Zayn than anything. I disagree with that. It's been mostly about
I think it's been about Cody and
Cody. I think that Cody's losing. Cody's losing on Sunday. That's what I think.
I'm not surprised that Cody is not main eventing because Tribal Combat is a different level of chaos. You already know you're going to get 45 minutes to an hour of absolute nonsense when it comes to Tribal Combat in the Bloodline. which is something we'll talk about in the Raw review here in a little bit too. But yeah, do I think Cody's losing? I think one of the world champions is losing. I think one of them. I don't think that they're both going to retain on the same show. And it's telling. It's very telling that they're having the world titles defended on a show like this. Another show, Clash in Italy, which I guess it's a big time because it's the first time they're ever holding the PLE in Italy, but it's considered a B-level PLE, just like Backlash.
They stacked this one up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think it's going to be a good one. Do I think that Cody's losing? I can't give a complete yes or no right now until after we talk about the tribal combat stuff.
All right, let's get into Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw last night took place from Columbus, Ohio. What did you think about the crowd in Columbus last night, Corey?
I think they started off hot. I think they started off real hot. We'll talk about that opening segment, but I think they started off real hot. They had their moments, especially during that opening match. That opening match, they were invested the entire time. I think everybody was. Somebody asked on the timeline yesterday when it was announced, they were like, I think this match should main event. I said, this gives an opening match on Monday Night Raw to set the tone. And what happened? Yeah, the match was the first match of the night. But I think Columbus was pretty good. Ohio crowds a lot of times are solid. They do love their professional wrestling there. That whole region up there, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, that whole region up there, they do love professional wrestling. So I think the Columbus crowd was pretty good last night.
We got Paul Heyman, who kicks off the show this week, pacing around the ring, awaiting his cue to start the show as the announcers plugged Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar at WWE Clash in Italy this Sunday. Heyman says that he was there to hype a match that didn't need to be hyped. He said his speech starts getting interrupted by Oba chants. Like you said, the crowd was fired up to begin the show here. He called this rematch the biggest in professional wrestling history. He then cuts to the video screen for a pre-taped Brock Lesnar promo. Lesnar congratulates Femi on his WrestleMania victory, but said that win was going to cost him. Lesnar has had his ass beat before, but nothing quite like that. It was so bad that Brock was done. And of course, left his gloves and his boots in the ring. However, it wouldn't end like that for him, he says. Lesnar asks, Brock Lesnar can take an ass whooping, but can you? He said Femi would get his ass kicked by a humbled, retired beast, and he would rule over Femi. Heyman gets back on the mic and he says the good news was that everyone would get to see history, but the bad news was that Femi had awakened the beast. But then the music of the one man who has conquered the beast before. Boom, 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 boom. Oba Femi is here, and he corners Heyman once he gets into the ring. Femi says he might have awoken Lesnar, but what do you think 4F5s has awoken in Oba Femi? Heyman was panicking, so Femi assured him that he was safe. Femi wanted Heyman alive to see him retire Lesnar for a second time. Heyman liked to say that it was only business, but 4F5s seemed pretty personal to him. Femi pulled out the contract and he signs it on Paul Heyman's chest. He told Heyman to deliver a message. Last time I was fighting to beat him. This time I'm fighting to kill him. The crowd really was into Oba Femi here, but I thought the line about killing him was a little much, and it didn't quite get the like ooh type of reaction that I'm pretty sure he was going for here. But overall, I thought Femi came off well. Heyman was well, but this Brock Lesnar promo infuriated me. I don't think that WWE realizes what the fuck retired means. And I don't think that Brock Lesnar realizes that saying that you're a retired, humbled beast, no one wins on Sunday then. Because if Oba beats you again, he beat the retired version of you. And if you beat Oba Femi, then the retired version of you beat him. It just gave me a headache, dude. It was just like, what are you even saying? I thought the whole promo was to explain why you're back. You didn't even do that. You just said, I can take an ass kicking. Can you? Yeah. That's the reason that you're back? Okay. Whoa, you got me. Oh, yeah, you explained everything. Now I'm fascinated by this story. I was annoyed last week because of the domino effect of a Brock Lesnar return. It really means to me, just reading the tea leaves, like we're not going to get that Oba Femi versus Roman Reigns matchup at SummerSlam that we talked so much about on the WrestleMania review, Corey. It just feels like that. It feels like there's no reason to do this match at Clash in Italy unless it's Brock Lesnar getting his win back to set up a third matchup. So it's just prolonging where Oba Femi should be and needs to be right now to me. But overall, I was just kind of in the middle with this segment because I thought Oba came off well, Paul Heyman came off well, but the Brock Lesnar promo killed it for me. But what did you think?
Oba Femi is still over. The Oba chants are still very much over. No matter what the public perception is, WWE had Brock Lesnar come in and it's going to derail Oba Femi's momentum. Nah, these crowds are still going to vibe with Oba Femi no matter what. What did I think of the Brock Lesnar promo? You're still retired? What the fuck are you doing here then? Why you got your ass kicked in 4 minutes at WrestleMania? So it didn't sit well with you. So now you want to come back and get your lick back because you could get your ass kicked, but Oba Femi can't get his ass kicked? What? Paul Heyman said it last week. Brock Lesnar's still retired. What? What the fuck is he doing here then? It's been a month. It's been a month. What the fuck? But no, am I invested in the program? Absolutely. Oba Femi has me really, he came across very strong in that segment with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman looked terrified standing across from him when he signed the contract on his shoulder and told him, last time I was trying to defeat him, this time I'm going to kill him. You definitely could believe that. You definitely could believe that from somebody like Oba Femi. What do I think goes down this weekend? I think Oba Femi wins. I hope
you're right.
I think Oba Femi wins again. And fucking sends him away because that whole Gunther path is gone now. Unless Gunther contacts Heyman again and says, I want Brock at SummerSlam. He's retired, but you seem to bring him out of retirement again. Why don't you bring him to me this time? But no, I think Oba Femi has come off very strong. The open challenges that he did, while they were I did enjoy the Otis one. The Otis Open Challenge with meaty men slapping meat. Otis is an underrated worker, and he made Oba look like $1 million the way that he just had him toss him like it was nothing. Squashing those guards, I don't really get, except for the fact that you're frustrated. And because nobody wanted to have the balls to answer your challenge, you're going to take it out on everybody. And they just happen to be the first two people that he saw. So I guess. And then last week, obviously, Brock Lesnar hit him with 4 F5s. It just really pissed him off. I think Oba Femi has it. I've said this for a long time. Oba Femi is that guy. WWE has their guy for the next decade plus with him, as long as they don't bullshit around and do something stupid to the point where he walks away or something to that effect. I think Oba Femi should go over once again, continue that momentum. You have 2 wins in your first 2 PLEs against Brock Lesnar, a guy who is a certified Hall of Famer for his short career that he has had. And I say short because he was only in for 2 years when he started. Then he came back. When he came back and he had his little thing with Cena, he came back, sent a message. He was only part-time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to count him as a full-time competitor throughout those years. If you went back and put it together, probably 4 years, depending on how many appearances he's made in his career. So, but he did make an impact. He was a draw always. That's why they called him. They had him retire, or they had him end the streak. They had him do all this different stuff. They had him in the unification match against Roman Reigns. All kinds of. He's done a lot in his career. So to have Oba Femi beat him twice, I think would be the smart thing. If you're bringing him out of retirement, then just send him right back into it and have Oba Femi shut him up again. But I don't think this time. It's telling that this match is not on ESPN again. It's very telling that they're not having this. So I think they're going to go a distance this time. I think they're going to get a little bit of more time to beat the hell out of each other. It's not going to be a squash this time. And I think ultimately that Oba's going to have to go over, because we'll talk about later on what the Yeah Man announced. We'll talk about what he announced returning next week. I think Oba Femi should be in what he announced. So I think Oba should go over.
Rachel saying, why did I think they were ever going to give Oba the Brock Lesnar treatment by beating Roman at SummerSlam? Oba is not going to retire him again at Clash, unfortunately. It's Roman versus Seth at SummerSlam, presumably. I want Corey to be right so much. Let me just say that. I just don't understand I don't understand the reason to bring him back for a Clash in Italy show. Like you said, it is a historic show, first one in Italy, and they have stacked it. But why are you bringing back Brock Lesnar a month after he did a Pursuo retirement, unless you're going to let him get his heat back to set up a bigger matchup at SummerSlam, at the bigger show in the year?
That would be the only thing, is that they want to do the trilogy. However, SummerSlam will be a little bit over 2 months out. So Night of Champions would be the next pay-per-view. Do they run the trilogy at Night of Champions and then have Oba do something different at SummerSlam? Potentially. Say Oba does lose to Brock this time. Run it back at Night of Champions and have him send him packing to where Brock is desperate this time. And maybe Brock shows up on SmackDown and attacks Gunther, who takes the undisputed WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes. Who knows? Maybe you run Gunther versus Brock Lesnar for the undisputed WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Who knows? That's the only route that I can see them going right now, is if they do have Brock Lesnar beat him, they run the trilogy at Night of Champions. I don't see the program going all the way to SummerSlam. I think Night of Champions, that Saudi payday for Brock Lesnar would be nice. I think that would be something that maybe they do if they do have Oba Femi lose this one. But I do not prefer that. I think Oba Femi needs to go over here again, and then he participates in something that we'll talk about in a little bit.
We got a couple of comments. We got Mac ODs, who says, booking Oba this year is one of the easiest layups I've seen. Retire Brock, King of the Ring, beat Roman. But no, they turning the ball over. We don't know yet. We don't quite know yet.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll get our answer on Sunday. But I agree. That seems like the easiest way to make him a solidified top star. Hopefully they listen to Corey and don't listen to our doubts. suit. But we get Roman, who shows up at the building. It is his birthday last night, and a stagehand tries to hand him a gift, and he just pops it out of their hand. We see Jacob Fatu walking, Rey Mysterio walking. He was announced as the new GM of AAA on Saturday. Judgment Day has also arrived. They got a tag team match later on in the show. But we kick off Monday Night Raw this week with Penta defending the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Javon Evans. Evans immediately goes for the OG cutter, and that would become a theme of the matchup. He went for his finish multiple times. Penta blocked it on the first go. Evans hits a Hurricane Rana and then landed on his feet when Penta tried one of his own. They basically traded standoffs and then counters and had a face-off. Evans joined Penta in doing the Penta strut and then hits him with a big drop kick to the face. Evans goes for a springboard after the leaping outside dive, and he goes for a springboard back in the ring, but Penta catches him with a super kick. Moments later, Penta was back outside, and Evans went for a tope suicida, but Penta used his momentum and made him crash and burn into the edge of the announce table. Evans fought back during the commercial break, and he dived onto Penta over the barricade before hitting a springboard clothesline back inside. As Michael Cole noted that Evans was no longer smiling. He was showing a little bit more aggression in this matchup. He traded chops with Penta, but instead of going for another chop, Evans hit a sudden knee strike, and then he hits a regular cutter, and he gets a near fall. Penta responded with a backstabber for 2. With Penta hunched over the apron, you get Evans, who leaped over and hits an OG cutter on the edge of the ring frame, hitting his back hard in the process. He brings Penta back in, and he gets a 2 count. Penta blocked another springboard move and hits the Penta driver for a near fall. Moments later, you get Penta, who goes up to the top rope, but Evans catches him. He leaps up and he hits an avalanche Hurricane Rana. Evans goes for the OG cutter once again, but Penta this time catches him in midair and hits him with a super kick. Penta went for a destroyer, but Evans countered with a knee strike. Evans once again goes for the OG cutter, and this time Penta catches him in midair with a backstabber, and then finally he puts things away with the Mexican destroyer to get the 1-2-3 and retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship. This one went 11 and a half minutes. Just an awesome close to this matchup. Very good matchup. A lot of fun. The crowd was invested in the action. These guys showed off great chemistry by the end of the matchup and really gave us a hot finish to this one. I was a little annoyed because I got the ads during this matchup, and I was like, y'all making me miss 3 minutes of this matchup. I had to go back and watch it, and it was definitely a very good matchup here. As Penta retains, he then gives a show of respect to Evans, but Evans basically shows his frustration and pulls his hand away. He leaves the ring quite upset while Penta celebrates. What did you think about the opener here with the Intercontinental Championship on the line?
Outstanding. Like I said earlier in the show, the crowd was hot for this one. Definitely was. It lived up to being announced on the same day. Hey, Penta versus Javon Evans for the Intercontinental Championship tonight on Monday Night Raw. Hey, it definitely lived up to what we thought it was going to be, though. Hot action from start to finish. Even in the commercial breaks, they were flying all over. Javon hit Penta with a flying move that sent him into the crowd. Javon took a nasty landing into the announce table. A lot of back and forth. That ending sequence, though, that was chef's kiss. A beautiful ending sequence. Javon Evans not taking the respect from Penta kind of caught my eye a little bit because Javon is tired of finishing second in a 2-horse race. It's happened his entire WWE career so far. He hasn't won a singles championship yet. He's come close many times. Many times he's almost been at the finish line, but hasn't quite got over it yet. So I'm intrigued, but I did really enjoy this one. This was probably one of my favorite TV matches of the year in the amount of time that it got, because I did get to watch it in full. I didn't have to watch no damn advertisements.
A lot of people seems to have enjoyed this one as well. Alan says this match slapped. He says this should be why the IC title is still that workhorse title, that they just have great matches for it. Love Penta as champion. I think Penta right now is the best champion in WWE right now. He's been
There's no
defending it
doubt.
quite often.
No
He's been
doubt.
putting on great shows, one time in, time out, and this was just another example of it. And two really strong matches over the last week with the Ethan Page matchup at Saturday night's main event, and then this
Outstanding.
one.
That match on Saturday was outstanding. Penta's just, like you said, is turning back into the workhorse title. The IC title and the US title have gotten some nice treatment in 2026. The open challenge on SmackDown with the US title was nice and refreshing. It's nice to see a little program going on over there now with that one. Trick being intertwined with Mello again. And then you have Ricky being involved now. So it's nice to see a little refreshing program going on, an actual feud. And then here, like you said, Penta with the Intercontinental Championship. He has defended it, I'm not sure, eight times, I think somebody said.
Yeah, it's 8 times now.
8 times. Yeah. Every time it's been great. But what do you expect from Penta though? Penta is before he came to WWE, people were saying, I think Rey Fenix is going to be the star of the brothers when they both go to WWE. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're downplaying the in-ring ability of Penta. And for the majority, Penta hasn't had to tone down his style whatsoever in WWE. He still does the majority of what he did elsewhere. So I think that adds to the credibility of him as a wrestler and what he's done in his time as Intercontinental Champion. So I'm definitely a fan, and I was definitely a fan of this match.
Also, Penta has more of the charisma of the two brothers and more of that kind of like personality that kind of translates better into WWE, whereas Rey Fenix is just a great wrestler. I think Penta has both. He could be the great wrestler, but he can also be a great character as well, and he's definitely marketable. WWE has shown that as well.
Yeah, he that charisma. He's got the charisma. I mean, not to take away from Rey Fenix, though. Rey Fenix has some charisma of his own when he's able to show it. Right now, he's doing his thing in AAA, and soon he'll be back on normal WWE television. But I think at the moment, yeah, Penta's that guy. You're strapping a rocket to him right now, and don't take that momentum away until you're ready to give the title to somebody like Javon or Ethan Page.
Then we have the breaking news as we go over to the commentary desk, and Michael Cole and Corey Graves announced that Logan Paul has been injured during the World Tag Team Championship matchup at Saturday night's main event with the Street Profits. They showed the footage of Angelo Dawkins with that last tope con hilo over the top rope onto Logan Paul. He landed on his shoulder, and he basically suffered a torn bicep in the process. We then go backstage where his tag team partner, Austin Theory, is meeting up with Paul Heyman. Theory was ready to hand over the tag team title to Heyman, but Heyman asks why. Theory says Logan is hurt, so he wasn't sure what to do with it. Heyman says that Logan knew that this business wasn't ballet. Heyman also put it in every contract that the Vision would be the ones defending the tag titles, without specifying who. Heyman says that Theory could defend the titles with, I don't know, Braun Breaker. Heyman wanted to explain further, but Theory hugs him. He almost looked like he was about to mollywop him at the same time, but he thanks him so much for helping him keep the titles. Heyman told Theory, I did this for you because I believe in you, because I wanted this for you. Probably some reality to that line, because we all know that Heyman is the one who pushed for Theory to be part of the Vision. Theory wanted to take out anyone involved in hurting Logan, and Heyman was on board with this. So he says, you know what to do and whom to do it to. So it is official. The Vision are keeping the World Tag Team Championships, and it now seems that Braun Breaker will fill in for the spot left behind by Logan Paul, which is pretty much like what the fourth or fifth different tag team lineup that we've had for the Vision. Vision tag team was originally Seth and Braun. Then Bronson Reed joined the team, and it became Braun and Bronson. Then it went from that to Austin Theory's on the team. So then Austin Theory started teaming with Bronson Reed. Then Bronson and Braun got injured, and then it became Logan and Austin Theory, and now we got Theory and Braun Breaker. This is a cursed faction. I'm sorry. It has to be said.
The funny thing is the full faction began 1 year ago today, and on an episode of WWE Raw right here in Tampa. The Bronson Reed was part of that Saturday night's main event that was here that weekend, and then that Monday night they officially introduced the Vision with Paul Heyman bringing Bronson Reed into the equation. Do I think that Braun Breaker is going to be the one defending the tag team championships with Austin Theory? No. I think Bronson Reed is close. I think Bronson Reed will be the one because Braun Breaker has bigger fish to fry. So there's no reason for him to be in the tag team division at the moment. You mentioned that Michael Cole said that Logan Paul tore his triceps at Saturday night's main event. I saw that the fellas over at Rope Break broke that news Sunday morning, that he and Sol Ruca were injured at Saturday night's main event, which both of those were confirmed on this episode of Monday Night Raw. Speedy, healthy, whatever you want to say, recovery to Logan Paul. You can feel the way you want to feel about him, but it's never a good thing to cheer people being injured. So, but yeah, the Vision as a faction is very cursed, and I don't know what's going to happen with it in the future.
Yeah, seems like we got Dion who agrees with you. He thinks that Reed will be Theory's partner. We also got Alan who says, I would love if when Reed comes back, him and Breaker could be good tag team champions. But I think you're right. I think that Braun Breaker is going to be the main event guy in this group. And we got Rachel who says she's got a hot take. Nothing against Austin Theory, but Grayson Waller should have been chosen to be part of the Vision instead of Theory. Grayson is a far better worker and talker. Sorry, I disagree with worker. I think he's definitely a better talker, but Theory's always been the better wrestler between those two guys.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there that Theory is definitely the better worker in ring. Grayson Waller, you saw it in NXT. He can go on the microphone, but obvious reasons Austin Theory is in the Vision. There's obvious reasons. Paul Heyman is a big fan of him. They keep trying to get him over in some capacity. And he was a huge this episode of the show. He was a huge part of the show. This episode is themed around him. You named it after him. So you could tell that Paul Heyman is still trying to get him over. And I'm starting to buy in a little bit, little by little. I'm starting to buy into him again. I did not buy into him one bit that run where he was the United States champion, where he beat John Cena at WrestleMania. I did not enjoy A-Town Down Under. I was not a fan of that tag team. I thought that they were holding each other back. I did not enjoy it. When Theory went down with an injury, you had Grayson Waller then join the New Day. Which
I was bringing down the New Day.
Yeah, it's some things don't fit. They don't fit where they place them. So they try these things out, and I think this could be a blessing in disguise for Austin Theory, with Logan Paul going down, depending on who they put with him. Because, like I said, I don't think Braun Breaker is going to be the one tag teaming with him. They also don't have the 30-day rule in effect anymore. So I don't think that they're going to have to defend those tag team titles right now. They
And there's who else are they supposed to defend it against? It
yeah,
feels
really,
like coming out of Saturday night's main event, they were just going to continue feuding with the Street Profits. If the plan all along was for the Street Profits to win the tag team titles from them, you could also just do one match with Theory and Braun, and that's how they drop the titles.
yeah. We'll see what happens there. It's just because we got some stuff to talk about them later on in this show also.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the Vision tag team now.
Yeah, and regardless of how I feel with Logan Paul, I never like to wish any ill will or injuries to anyone. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And it's a shame that it happened in probably the best tag team matchup that the Vision has had with this new lineup of him and Logan Paul. That was the best matchup that they've had so far. Very fun main event to Saturday night's main event. So, and especially because it was on the last spot of the matchup too. Like you're almost done, you're almost at the finish line, and right before you hit the finish line, you suffer an injury. That has to suck.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate, but
happens.
It is what it is. It happens. It's part of the business. So
yep. And speaking of more theory, you get Joe Hendry was next in the ring during the ad break, and of course he's saying "Fire Logan Paul" again. He does it during the
a different version.
Oh, well, he does a different version every week. He changes up the verses, but it's always Paul can fire Logan Paul. And then as the ad break ended, he was still in the ring finishing up the concert when Austin Theory comes from behind and hits him with a steel chair. Theory hit Hendry repeatedly in the back with the steel chair. He was about to leave, but he turned around and hit Hendry in the head, quote unquote, against the ring post. Officials checked on Hendry as Austin Theory sent a message, and it wouldn't be the last time we saw Theory on this show. I honestly just feel like Joe Hendry might be more of a mascot than freaking Danhausen. At least Danhausen, they figured out, a way to have him have a matchup at Backlash. I don't know when. I think that they were probably going to go in direction of Hendry facing Logan Paul, but at this point, he just feels like a mascot to do concerts on Raw weekly instead of a person who's actively involved in any one storyline.
Yeah, I can go ahead and tell you that was 100% the direction. Was he was gonna? That's why the song came about in the first place.
Yeah,
they were gonna drop the tag team titles, and Joe Hendry was gonna go into a mini feud with Logan Paul. Now with Logan Paul being out for months with a torn triceps, it looks like the Austin Theory he's gonna be involved in the Vision Circle once again.
Yeah.
You think? You said that it's like he's a mascot. I mean, he is a decent worker, but there's not really many people that he can work with. And when his big thing was, hey, I got over with a song, and people can sit there, because if you look when he's performing, everybody's got their phones out, the flashlights,
they're singing along.
So he's over. He's definitely over. It's just that I don't think there's really anybody that he can work with on the roster right now. So he's in limbo. And after Austin Theory beat his ass with a steel chair, who knows what's next? Who knows what's coming out of this? Because he left him laying there. It seems like he's probably going to be off TV for a little bit now. I would have to think, because of the way it happened. He threw the chair at him and hit him in the head, and so I'm kind of thinking that might be what happens until they can actually get back into the direction with him and getting his revenge on Austin Theory. So it just depends. But yeah, it's like right now he's just a musical act. There wasn't really much for him to do. And Austin Theory is at the expense right now of trying to get himself over with his tag team partner out.
Then we go backstage to Seth freaking Rollins, who approaches Angelo Dawkins. Rollins says that he knew what it felt like to get screwed over by the Vision, as the Street Profits did at Saturday night's main event, but they had an opportunity with Logan gone now. The Vision was the weakest that they've ever been, but they were also the most dangerous. That made no sense to me. Rollins says that he's never seen that side of Theory before, and they should put the Vision out for good. This is when Montez Ford comes into play. He approaches and says that he was not having it. He was done and wasn't interested in the Rollins redemption tour. You got Rollins, who says that if he were around for their matchup at Saturday night's main event, the Street Profits would be tag champs right now. They didn't have to be friends when this was over. They just need to work together to get rid of the Vision. Rollins knew why Ford didn't trust him, but he was the only one between them who has ever been a multi-time world champion. He's the only one in this circle that has been a WrestleMania main eventer. Ford says that he said, you're right, you are different, because he never stabbed his brother in the back. But how about this? Both of us think that we're the best. How about we prove it tonight? I face you, and we see who's the best between us. Rollins accepts this, and Dawkins was amazing during this whole segment, looking more and more annoyed until the end when they make this matchup and he's just face palming to just into oblivion. I thought he did a great job with his facial expressions throughout this segment, and I like Montez Ford having that little swagger and thinking that he is the best even in singles competition and challenging a multi-time world champion. I've been liking the character work that we've seen between Seth and Montez. It's low-key been the most coherent story going on Monday Night Raw as of late. What did you think about this backstage segment?
Yeah, it's good though. It's good that you're treating it like just because you now came back and you're not the bad guy that you think you once were, we're not going to forgive you for everything that you've done. All the hell that you've caused everybody. Great character development with Montez Ford recently. Angelo Dawkins playing his part well too. He's so underrated both in the ring and as a character. I'm intrigued. Them announcing this on the show, 100%. It felt like who has the pen this week, because they're putting together some bangers tonight. Who got the pen? But yeah, the match being made official and going into the match later, I definitely like how they've been working this story, because Seth was right. The Vision had the number games on Saturday again. Braun Breaker, despite getting involved, didn't really play a difference in that match, but he was still there. He was still there. They could call the numbers game at any moment. Paul Heyman was the ultimate one who played a difference in that match. So Seth Rollins could have helped them, but he was asked not to. He was asked to stay out of their business. So here we are. Now we get into this segment, and it leads to a match later on in this episode.
There was a video package. It was an updated version of the video package we saw on Saturday for the Máscara versus Máscara match at AAA Noches dos los Grandes, as El Grande Americano will face the original El Grande Americano. Then we get Penta, who is backstage and approached Javon Evans. Evans apologized for being unprofessional earlier. He called Penta a great champion, but he let him know that he'd be seeing him again soon for the Intercontinental Championship. They bumped fists, and then Rey Mysterio approached Penta. He congratulated him on his success. Penta congratulated him on his position at the AAA GM, and Penta wanted to be a fighting champion and represent the Lucha Libre culture, but there was no one he would rather face than Rey Mysterio. Rey liked the sound of that idea, so Penta says that he would go talk to Adam Pearce to make it possible. So we'll get more into this with the second half of this whole thing later on in the show when we see Rey again. But we'll go into the tag team matchup that was next. Raquel Rodriguez teaming up with Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day with AAA Mega Campeon Dominik Mysterio and WWE Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. Yes, I too forgot that Liv Morgan was Women's World Champion because she still doesn't have a feud. versus Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Bayley makes the hot tag following a commercial break where they isolated Lyra for a while. She comes in and hits Perez with a back suplex, a sunset flip powerbomb out of the corner. Then Valkyria's tagged in and teamed with Bayley to hit a combo neckbreaker on Roxanne. They awkwardly made their way to the side of the ring so they could be in and position for Morgan to put Perez's leg on the bottom rope. However, the ref saw this and tossed out the WWE Women's World Champion, who protested this and was very upset. So Bayley attacked her, and Rodriguez clotheslined Bayley. Valkyria wiped out Rodriguez. Perez tried to use the distraction by applying a schoolboy, but Lyra was able to kick out as Morgan eventually finally left the ringside area and gave directions to Dom. You get Bayley, who tags in and went to the top rope, but Dom distracted her, so the Rodriguez shoved Bayley off the top. Perez hit the pop rocks, but Lyra was supposed to break up the cover, but she was late, so Bayley had to kick out of Perez's finisher. Rodriguez tried powerbombing Lyra out of the ring, but Valkyria used a leg scissors to wipe them out off the top rope. Then you get Dom, who leaped on the apron yet again. He distracted the referee while tossing Roxanne the AAA championship to use, but a tug of war with Bayley led to Bayley knocking Perez backwards as she hit Dom off the apron with the title belt. Bayley then took advantage of the miscue, and she rolls up Rodriguez with a schoolgirl and gets the 1-2-3 for her team. I like all these ladies in the matchup, most notably, Roxanne, Lyra, Bayley. I'm warming up to Rodriguez, and I recognize that she is getting better. All of that to say, this match was an absolute mess. I hated it.
Yeah, I've seen better days from these four women. The Judgment Day being involved in anything in this capacity right now, it's just why is the Judgment Day still a thing?
Dude, you are preaching to the choir.
Why is the Judgment Day still a thing? There's no direction for them whatsoever. Dominik Mysterio has absolutely no direction whatsoever right now. On WWE television or AAA television. I understand on the lucha side. I get it because the big thing is mask versus mask right now. So there's really nothing for him.
He's going to face El Grande in the main event of Triple Mania.
Yeah, so I get that at this point. But the Judgment Day stuff, your women's world champion doesn't have a program right now. Obviously, I understand why she doesn't have a program also. I get it. Stephanie Valkyria was going to be her program going into the summer. They were going to run that for about 2 more months. It was going to be Liv and Stephanie working. But the Raw side, there's no baby faces to face her outside of Stephanie and Io right now. And Io is doing what she's doing at the moment. So
what is that? I don't even know.
Io just had the announcement that she got married and everything. So she's doing all that stuff right now. Her man is still on NXT, but she's taking time. She's taking some time for herself right now. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's no baby faces at the moment for her to face. They're in tag teams. They're in tag teams right now. So hopefully, I think the direction I saw the report from PW Insider like last week or the week before that Stephanie was supposed to be integrated into television leading into Italy, but she's not yet. So I'm wondering if she comes to television in Italy on that Monday Night Raw next week, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see and kickstart that feud again. Who knows? But yeah, this tag team match was chaos. It didn't really do anything for anybody. Nobody gained anything from it besides Bayley and Lyra Valkyria getting a win, potentially putting them in line for a women's tag team championship opportunity. Bayley seems to be hyping it up on social media right now that they're the greatest. Paige responded. Charlotte responded. So there's definitely still some action in the women's tag team division. I think that's the only direction that they have going right now. When it comes to Judgment Day, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Dom got beat by the Demon at WrestleMania. Haven't had anything there lately. Yeah, that's I don't.
Yeah, we got Pancho.
The triple A, like I said, I understand the triple A direction. Earlier this year on a show that I did on a Raw Dogs episode, I said that the direction was Dom to lose a lot and then do the redemption arc. I don't know if they're still following through with that. I think they are, but I think they want him and Finn to actually finish this feud that they have.
It was finished at WrestleMania. I'm sick of them dragging stuff out.
I don't understand. I don't understand when it comes to Judgment Day anymore. I just want the stable to end. I want Roxanne to go babyface and go and challenge Liv for the title at this point, because there's really no point of the stable anymore. It does nothing for anybody.
This is my whole argument that WWE needs to listen to their fans more, because you're probably right that they're going to do a Dom loses all the gold and loses a lot so he can eventually become a babyface. He's not going to get as big of babyface reactions as he was last year. Last year, when he was doing the Eddie Guerrero lies, cheat, steal U.S. title run from 2003 with the Intercontinental title, that is the most over he ever got in his whole career, and they should have just ran with it and naturally just turned him babyface. They had him going against heels. He was going against Rusev and getting these nuclear reactions. Like, people were loving him, and they just didn't go with the flow. He got babyface reactions in AAA for a long time as well, and they just didn't go with their flow.
He was the number one, and that's why he won the title. Vikingo. They wanted Vikingo to be the face of AAA, and obviously the fan base there did not want that. They didn't want to see that again. So the bookers over there and those who work on the show went that direction of, okay, we're going to have Dom come in and take the title from him and run this place. And now you look at it, and El Grande Americano is the most over person that I've seen anywhere in a long time.
Sure.
Good Lord, if you saw the videos from Friday from the serenade of El Grande Americano in Mexico City, my goodness, they haven't capitalized on Dominik Mysterio, and it's sad. And sad to say, I think that his direction went away when he lost the Intercontinental Championship to John Cena in Boston. Yeah. When John Cena beat him for the Intercontinental Championship just for them to run the match back 2 weeks later at Survivor Series, I think the direction, all of his momentum went away. It hurt his momentum. Yeah. And him winning it back at Survivor Series did absolutely nothing for him, because what did he do? What did he do before he lost the title to Penta? Nothing. What did he do?
I think he got what he didn't he get hurt at the tail end of the year. He got hurt, and then he just came back, and they just didn't really have him
that's another faction that's cursed. Just end it, because there's nothing positive I can say about the Judgment Day anymore. Really don't get it at all.
Yeah. And Alan Bakey's bringing up, he says, does Paul really not know how to book Liv as champion? This is just like her first time as champion. She didn't have nothing until Rhea came back, and now she has nothing until Steph comes back. Sad. He has not booked one good WWE Women's World Champion in the history of this title.
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley was champion for like 16 months. And she didn't defend it for like 3 of them. She was more of the Judgment Day kind of sidekick during their tag team title matches. You said the problem with Liv's first run. Just last year, we saw this same formula. Io Sky has the match of the night, match of the year candidate with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. She does a 3-week program with Rhea against Julia and Roxanne Perez. After the tag team match, they didn't use her for 2 months.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The only person that I can say was booked well with it, and it was only for a month because she had to.
It's Naomi, but it barely got started.
She only had a month with it. Unfortunately, she was going to be booked very well. Her booking was going to be great throughout the rest of the year coming into 2026. But yeah, the track record of people winning titles, your favorites. You don't want your favorites to win a championship in WWE because there's no direction for them after that. So on the women's side, especially, I can say they're getting better with the women's tag team championship picture. There's been more direction there, but singles title, no, don't wish for your favorite to win a women's championship in WWE currently.
It's true. Then we get Roman Reigns, who met up with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce backstage. Pearce didn't think that Jacob Fatu should be employed by WWE, and Reigns understood. But he had to show the power that and stroke that he had and the bloodline had by having him face him in tribal combat. Reigns didn't actually want to go back to his old ways and didn't realize Fatu knew he had an ace to pull by challenging him to tribal combat. But Fatu knew Reigns had no choice but to accept as the tribal chief. Reigns says that there had to be consequences in the contract. If Fatu lost, he had to serve Reigns, but if Fatu won, he wished Pearce luck because they are all screwed. I love Roman Reigns. I'm a huge fan of Jacob Fatu. Nothing in this story makes any type of sense. They literally signed a contract. The whole agreement to the first matchup was the first promo that they had against each other. He said, if I beat you, you have to acknowledge me. They signed the contract. They acknowledged that was on the line. Then he didn't acknowledge him. Now he's doing the tribal combat match for him to acknowledge him in all of this. He says that he didn't realize that Fatu knew he had an ace to pull about tribal combat when Fatu literally interfered in the last tribal combat matchup. How did you not know he knew about tribal combat?
Yeah.
No, it's just like, it's like literally Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu and the bloodline in general. They just get over with the fact that they are so over with the fans, but nothing in this story has made sense for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it would make sense if Roman said he didn't know that Jacob Fatu knew that he could invoke the clause of tribal combat at any time. But to say that he didn't know that he could that tribal combat was a thing was silly. Like you said, he got involved in the last one. So yeah, it would make sense if he said, yeah, I didn't know that he knew he could invoke it at any time, which is true. Any member of the bloodline could say, let's get into tribal combat, and that's what happens. Yeah. But the whole segment here was Adam Pearce was like, we could have just had this and I could have fired him, but you didn't let me, and now look where we ended up. So I have enjoyed Jacob Fatu's work. I do like seeing him showcased because he's such a great talent. He's going to be a big part of the future moving forward. We'll talk about that closing segment a little bit later, and then I'll give my thoughts on what I think is going to happen at Clash. But yeah, this backstage segment was just like, okay, we're here to talk about, I want to make this known. This is going to be here. Okay, thank you. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Oh, we get a Memorial Day video narrated by, of course, Cody Rhodes. And then we get LA Knight with his first in-ring promo since WrestleMania 42. LA Knight entered the ring. He says that it's been a while since he's felt this. It's been since WrestleMania, since he stood in the ring in front of everyone. He wished everyone a happy Memorial Day and thanked all of the service members. Knight put the vision in his rearview mirror at WrestleMania, and he stood with Jimmy and Jey Uso to do it. But the Usos have been doing things a bit differently lately. Next week on Monday Night Raw, the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments begin. And he was throwing his name in the hat. Yeah. That meant that he would be earning a title shot and was coming for Roman Reigns, who he says was the most corrupt champion he has ever seen. But as soon as he says that and he talks about the tribal chief, the music of not the Usos, but Jimmy Uso hits. And out comes Jay's twin brother. He says that he fought side by side with Knight against the Vision at Mania. Knight says that was true. But now Jimmy was with Reigns fighting 3-on-1, and it rubbed Knight the wrong way. He was one of the Bloodline's past victims. Jimmy understood that because a lot of people had problems with the Bloodline. They had things ugly. They made things ugly for everyone for years. They did what they had to do, though. But it wasn't like that anymore. Jimmy invited Knight to enter the King of the Ring because if he won, he'd have a fair shot at Reigns. Knight was offended by Jimmy saying fair. He says he asked if Jimmy was going to be was being honest with him or if he was even being honest with himself. Knight saw Jimmy playing third fiddle to Reigns behind Jay, and he didn't want to see him become Roman's errand boy again. Jimmy said that Knight was lucky that the Yeet Man wasn't there because if he was, they wouldn't be talking anymore. Knight says that proved his point. The two of them would attack him 2-on-1, and maybe Reigns would join them just like they did to Jacob Fatu. Jimmy says that their family business had nothing to do with Knight. He don't know nothing about Jacob, so he should tread carefully or he would become their business next. Knight says that Jimmy was the one that he liked. He was okay with Jay, but he didn't like Roman then, and he doesn't like Roman now. Reigns always needed somebody's help. If the family business became his business, he would make sure they went out of business. Knight told Jimmy to deliver that message to Roman Reigns and walked out the ring. Really strong promo work from both guys. Jimmy in this run has really proved he is the stronger promo guy of the Usos and why he kind of excels in the promo that he did with CM Punk on the lead up to WrestleMania. And then here he just comes off very well, very confident talker in the ring. And of course, LA Knight is one of the best talkers, which is basically booking malpractice that this is his first promo since WrestleMania because he's so good and he wouldn't look like a wandering character in WWE SmackDown. Here comes the pain, walking around, bumping into people. Instead, he feels like a genuine character in the show when he's in the ring on the mic. He was in so many backstage segments without like a clear direction. This gave him a clear direction. And of course, he made the big announcement of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament starting next week. What did you think about this promo exchange and the tournaments beginning next week?
Fantastic exchange here. Jimmy Uso is very underrated when it comes to microphone work. He was in there with one of the best on the mic currently in LA Knight, and he stood his own there. I think this exchange definitely touched a lot of things that people might have forgot about. LA Knight was involved with the Bloodline previously, and they made his life a living hell. If you recall, he had a match against Roman Reigns for the championship, and the Bloodline got involved. It was a whole mess.
It was Jimmy who cost him that matchup.
Yeah, so he definitely nice little callback there in this promo exchange. Jimmy Uso saying that he understands, but this is different this time. We got different things going on. LA Knight saying it's 3-on-1. Well, what are you guys doing? Then they get into the whole thing. Send this message back to Roman. So I think that might be a program that we're going to see this year again. So it's definitely was great mic work from the both of them. King and Queen of the Ring tournament qualifiers starting next week. I had already when I announced a few months ago that they were bringing Night of Champions back to Saudi Arabia in June. I had also mentioned that the King and Queen of the Ring tournament final was going to be there. So it's good to see that after they finish one PLE, they jump right into the matches to set up those tournament finals. Good to see them coming back. I think we're going to get multi-person matches again, probably triple threats again. But those always
made 4 ways. It was 4 ways last year.
I think it'll be triple threats this time. Like when they did the Money in the Bank qualifiers, they were triple threats last year. So I think they might run that format again. We'll see. Either way, the multi-person matches always cook for some reason with WWE under Triple H because he gets a security blanket where they all can work. He'll book four random ass people in a match. And they have no chemistry whatsoever, but they can still put on a good match. You have a 4-way dance; they still put on a hell of a match. So we'll see what matches come. But I'm looking forward to King and Queen of the Ring once again, because as I mentioned before, I want to see Oba Femi in that tournament. I want Oba Femi to defeat Brock Lesnar on Sunday and get his big ass in that tournament. Get his big ass in that tournament and challenge for a championship at SummerSlam. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here and who's all going to be announced for the qualifiers.
I agree with you. We got Alan Banky with a good question here. He says, if WWE doesn't have Oba win it or even in it, who do y'all think wins the King of the Ring? I think it should be, and I wouldn't go with LA Knight myself. I think Braun Breaker would be my pick.
I don't know if they're gonna have Breaker in it just due to the fact that he's still in a feud with Seth Rollins right now. I don't know if
I think Seth's gonna be in the tournament too.
Do you? You think they're gonna? Do you think they put them in a match together?
I wouldn't mind if they're gonna keep Raw and SmackDown on the other side. The Raw final should probably be Seth versus Braun again.
Yeah, do the singles match against each other, and then do the singles match on the other side, SmackDown, and do the SmackDown versus Raw again format that they've been doing. I think that's the move again. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. But with LA Knight being the one to introduce it, I think he's going to be the one that's going to win the King of the Ring. I think that he's going to be, because we mentioned it. He told him to send a message to Roman Reigns. So I think that LA Knight, if he does win King of the Ring, that'll be the Roman Reigns program right there, is he gets the challenge for the world title. Because I know people are holding on to hope about Money in the Bank every single year, but this would be his easiest path to at least be in the world title picture once again.
We got Dion who says he's got Oba and Braun winning the King of the Ring and Io for Queen of the Ring. Io winning Queen of the Ring. I know in your mind you're saying, "Oh, Io wins Queen of the Ring versus Rhea at SummerSlam." That's not how it works, brother. It's the winner gets a shot at the world title of their brand. Io is on Raw. That would mean Io versus Liv Morgan or whoever is the WWE Women's World Championship. It's not like Royal Rumble. It's not like Money in the Bank where they get to choose who they want to face. So I don't think that it's going to be Io. Honestly, I think it's going to be JC Jane. I've been calling that since the SmackDown after WrestleMania. I was like, they're not going to go a straight line to JC versus Rhea again. They're going to have JC earn it by winning the Queen of the Ring.
When they called them up, it was apparent that they wanted to see the kind of reaction that they were going to get. And with the reports that I've heard and from what WrestleVote said, they're altering their stuff based on that. And I think JC Jane is definitely going to get that world title match at SummerSlam and ultimately defeat Rhea. I think she takes the title from her because I know Robic reported on Sunday also that Rhea is penciled in to retain against Jade. I think that was apparent after Saturday night's main event with the finish there. But after that, who's in the running to face Rhea at that time? We'll see. Can they carry out 2 months without Rhea having a program for the championship? Although it is Night of Champions. So what titles will be defended at Night of Champions? We'll see. Because you're going to have the King and Queen of the Ring finals there as well. So we'll see what titles ultimately get defended there. But yeah, I do think on the women's side that JC Jane is the pick. Man, it's bothering me. It's been watering. My eyes been watering. It's bothering me. I don't know.
We got Mike McDaniel says I'd book Gunther versus Ilya as a match in the King of the Ring. I think Gunther's going to be champion.
We'll get into that. You could. That would be something that I would want to see. But I think if what you think is going to happen, if you think Gunther's winning the WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes, then I think Ilya might be one of his challengers for the title.
I can see that. Then we get Ethan Page interrupts a conversation between two general managers, the Raw general manager Adam Pearce and Rey Mysterio, the new AAA general manager. Page basically calls this conspiring. He didn't like that Rey was trying to get an IC title match, and he says that he wanted his rematch at the IC championship. Then suddenly we get Rusev, who jumps in next, wanted to know know what's going on over here. Page says that Pearce and Rey were conspiring against Rusev, stopping him from getting an Intercontinental Championship matchup. Rusev believed him, so he wasn't happy to hear this. Rey was more than happy to earn his opportunity, with Ethan suggesting that he faces Rusev, and he says he has no problem. Happy to fight Rusev to earn an IC title match, and Pearce agrees, and he makes the match official. I love Ethan Page playing instigator, just trying to avoid any type of work that he could put in. He's one of the better characters already on Raw.
It fits. That's the kind of person that he is. His character, exactly that. If you remember when he came into NXT, that's what he was. He was the guy who would put himself into the picture, and ultimately he won the NXT championship because of it. He got himself thrown into a multi-man match there, and he just fell into the cover to win the NXT championship. So that's definitely the type of person that Ethan Page is. He's like, he's trying to take your spot. He's trying to take your spot for the Intercontinental Championship. Rusev's like, what? Mine? So Ethan Page is ultimately just wanting them to beat the hell out of each other so that he has an easier path to get to that Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, so true. It's so true. Then we get Seth freaking Rollins is out next as he's going one-on-one with Montez Ford. After the commercial break between the two men, we get Rollins hits a superplex into a Falcon Arrow, and he gets a 2 count. They traded counters until Rollins was able to hit a pedigree, but he's only able to get a 2 count. We get with Ford down, Rollins tried to talk some sense into him. It was very much like a therapy session masquerading as a wrestling matchup, as he's telling him to stay down and says that he has changed and they need to work together. They need to work together to fight the Vision. Ford then slaps him, so Rollins hits consecutive buckle bombs, but then he went for a third one and Ford was able to counter. He drove him out of the ring, and then he hits a running flip dive over the corner, which looked great stuff from Montez in this one. He brings him back inside and he hits him with the big frog splash, but he's only able to get a 2 count. These two guys were working really hard in this one, going back and forth towards the end of the matchup, where you get Ford who goes for a 450 splash, but Rollins is able to move out the way. He then hits the curb stomp, and exhausted Seth just puts his hand over Ford, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. I really wanted Ford to put his hand on top of him, so it would have been a double pin, because Seth's shoulders was definitely down in this one as well. But Seth gets the win in a hard-fought matchup, very competitive as well. I thought this was a good matchup, not quite on the level of Penta and Javon from earlier in the show, but I thought that Montez looked good in this singles effort here. Post-match, though, you get both men recovering in the ring when Dawkins scrambles out and he gets hit in the stomach with a steel chair by Austin Theory. Austin Theory is continuing the attack while we see Montez is just watching on, unable to help his friend. You get Theory who hits him in the back with the steel chair, and with Dawkins down on his stomach, he then tries to give him a concerto onto the steel ramp. Unfortunately, they literally had to show a replay, because on the first view it looked all right from the camera shot that they had, and then they showed a replay and it was quite obvious he whiffed on this, which is the safest way to do it. You just didn't need to show the replay to kind of expose it that much. Backstage, you get Ford, who was steaming hot after the commercial break, and he wanted an update from Pearce on Dawkins. Rollins joined in and wanted an update as well. Ford finally agreed with Rollins that there were bigger things going on and bigger fish to fry than what they had between them. His brother was down and he needed them. And Rollins says, them? He said, them. It needed us. So he says, all right. Rollins and Ford nodded at each other before Ford went into the trainer's room to check on Dawkins. Rollins then approaches Pearce, and he says that he wanted Braun Breaker and he wanted the match as soon as possible. So, like I said, good matchup, good angle as well after the matchup with Austin Theory continuing his warpath for the Vision after the injury to Logan Paul, and then the resolution between Seth and Montez. That was good story building. I felt like that this matchup as a match was good. I thought it was better as a story crutch to kind of give us the next chapter of this story of Montez kind of accepting the help of Seth in their war against the Vision. What did you think?
We talked about the character and story development, and this being one of the interesting aspects of Raw. I definitely was a big fan of this match. Both of them looked very strong in this. Montez Ford continues to do what Montez Ford continues to do in that ring. I think that he should be getting a push very soon. So value there, a lot of value that they need to take advantage of. That concerto on the steel they didn't have to show that replay. But like you said, that's the safest route of how you do, because he didn't have another chair, but he's laying right there on the steel ramp. So he just did a concerto that way. And they go into this backstage segment where Montez finally gives in and says, yeah, he needs us. And Seth's like, us? Yes, us. So now it looks like they're on a path together to go and finish the Vision. Seth said he needs Braun, so I'm guessing this is how Seth is going to get Braun in some capacity at least. We don't know what's going on with Angelo Dawkins. He was in the trainer's room. We never got word on his status after the fact. So for now, maybe they're doing a Seth and Montez tag team at the moment. And maybe Seth and Montez win the tag team titles instead of the Street Profits. Maybe they have Seth and Montez win the tag titles together. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It'll be
wouldn't be the first time Seth won with a brother.
I'm not opposed to it. It'll be a different direction. It'll have you wondering what's going to happen next, especially if it's Seth. If they become tag team champions, where does that leave Angelo Dawkins on the outside? What happens there? Because they've been teasing a lot of different things between the Street Profits. It could cause some issues if they win the tag team titles. If they win the tag team titles together, maybe it brings them closer together. Who knows? Who knows what happens? But I'm looking forward to, like you said, with this story development and this progression, seeing where they go next with it.
Interesting stuff, good stuff. One of the better parts of the show right there. At this point, we get the rundown of all the matches for Clash in Italy. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the WWE Championship, announced for the ESPN2 portion of the show, as well as Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar 2, Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Tribal Combat for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Let me correct you there. It's going to be on the actual ESPN on Sunday.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They're running it on ESPN1. ESPN1 is, so they'll have more eyes on it on ESPN1 because there's no sports going on right now outside of baseball. And they're not running baseball at 2:00 in the afternoon on ESPN. So they'll be running it on ESPN1. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, they're running the kickoff show on ESPN1 too. So you're going to have 12:00 noon Eastern. You're going to have the kickoff show also on ESPN1. So they're definitely trying to expose more people to the wrestling side with this ESPN deal. I know a lot of people have said that ESPN is not happy with it. And that's just BS. They're actually very happy with it, which is why they're trying to get more people to get into wrestling, which is why you see Danhausen on ESPN being talked about that he lifted the curse on the Knicks, and the Knicks have won 11 straight games because of it, which is why The Miz is on ESPN, which is why you have all these different people. So it's gonna be fun. I know a lot of people were very confused because on Friday they had the graphic that said the initial graphic that aired that had the ESPN logo on it that was Roman and Jacob. I had to tell people Friday. I'm like, they're just showing every single graphic saying that Clash in Italy is on ESPN for the first hour. So, and then people being surprised. Oh my goodness, Cody Rhodes isn't main eventing against Gunther. No,
I was
no.
like, once they announced Tribal Combat, I was like, y'all need to just accept. We talked about this in depth
Yeah.
on the WrestleMania review. They have told you 1,000 times since WrestleMania, Roman is the number one, Cody is the number two. If they're on the same show, you can almost guarantee, unless they really want to pop a number on ESPN, ESPN2, Roman is in the main event.
Yeah, Roman's in the main event. Cody's opening. That's how it's going to go. If they're on the same card, more than likely that's how it's going to go. Will the roles be reversed in the future? Potentially, but right now that's how it's going because that's the hot angle that they have going, the Bloodline again. So they're going to always pick the Bloodline over Cody Rhodes' business.
Yeah. We got next they talked about how Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca was added to the card coming out of Saturday night's main event, and then they go backstage to Kathy Kelly, who interviewed the women's Intercontinental champion. Kelly said that Sol Ruca was sidelined with injuries tonight, and it seemed like Becky had the advantage for their upcoming match. Lynch said that some people got punched in the face and became the face of the industry, while others got punched in the face and got a wake-up call that they were in over their heads. Ruca was totally outmatched. Some people might be impressed with her little tricks and flips, but she hasn't picked up a single pinfall victory since her debut. A sad fact. Ruca's name was written in sand, but the tide was coming in, and Lynch's name was etched in stone and would be around forever. There was a difference between striving for greatness and standing across from it. Lynch welcomed her to the big time. It is official. Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. What have you thought about the push for Sol Ruca since she got to the main roster? I think that it's been a combination of Sol Ruca. I don't know if she's losing her confidence or not, but it's just the messing up of the Soul Snatcher, I think is getting to her a little bit. But I also think that WWE have done her no favors with how they booked her. And I know the story is, oh, she hasn't won any pinfall victories, so when she beats Becky, it's her first pinfall victory, and then she wins the title for it. I don't think that's the right way to push someone like Sol Ruca, though.
I understand them wanting to push Sol Ruca. Her first night on Raw, she confronted the women's world champion and took on the women's world champion in a match. So I get it. A lot of people are very high on her. I am very high on her, but there's a big difference between NXT and the main roster. NXT, you're working 6 days a week down there at the Performance Center. You get to walk through a lot. You get to perfect your moves down there. Whereas on the main roster, you're working 1, maybe 2 days a week. You're not wrestling a lot. So when you do get the stuff, you've noted that Sol Ruca's Soul Snatcher has had some issues on the main roster. It's not really her fault. I think a lot of people are not accustomed to taking that kind of move. So her trying to do this with Becky, it's just something hasn't clicked just yet. Have I enjoyed their back and forth though? I have. I think that they're two great workers. I have enjoyed Becky Lynch's work. I'm not enjoying the parody stuff that she's doing though. It's grown old on me. I did like it at the beginning when she started the whole parody of you know who. I was a fan of it, but now I do think that Sol Ruca needs to be here because if she doesn't, she's just out there on an island right now. It doesn't make sense for them to run that DQ ending at Saturday night's main event just for her to lose again. So even though she won at Saturday's night's main event, she lost ultimately because she didn't pick up the win to get this title opportunity in the first place. So I think that they are going to have her beat Becky. But then what do you do there? What's the direction there once she does is Becky chasing the title again? Do you put Becky in the Queen in the Ring tournament? Does Becky finally go back into the main event picture? What do you do there? So it's kind of a bunch of what ifs right now for me when it comes to Becky and Sol Ruca.
It's going to be interesting. Then we had our main event match of the night. We had Rey Mysterio going one-on-one with Rusev. You get All Ego Ethan Page. He comes out to join the commentary team. In the early going, you get Rey, who's playing cat and mouse until he sets up Rusev for the 619. Rusev pops out off of the middle rope and clobbers him with a back elbow. Rusev was in control, but Rey came back after the break with a low-seated senton and then a lion salt for 2. Rey tried a springboard move, but Rusev caught him and hits a spin outside slam. Rusev then hits him with the Moshka kick and gets a 2 count. Rusev tried chucking Rey through the ropes, but Rey countered by hitting the 619 to his gut. Rey then went for a regular 619, but Rusev was able to catch him. He went for the accolade, but Rey quickly was able to slip out, use his speed to get the advantage. He basically gets through and gets a schoolboy and gets the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory over Rusev here and earn his shot at the WWE Intercontinental Championship in the process. Post-match, you get All Ego Ethan Page, who wasn't happy with this. Neither was Rusev. He attacked Rey after the matchup. Ethan Page joined in this, where Dragon Lee ran out to make the save. He fights off both Ethan and Rusev, fights them off. He uses a Hurricane Rana to drive Ethan into Rusev. Dragon Lee then wiped out Page with a flip dive, while Rey was able to finally hit the 619 on Rusev. Dragon Lee finished off the beatdown with a Operation Dragon on Rusev and stood tall with Rey in the ring. This was fine. The match was fine. I just couldn't get really into Rey and Rusev here because it kind of seemed like a no-brainer. There was no doubt in Rey winning this matchup to set up the Intercontinental title match with Penta, and it seems like we're setting up a tag team match with Rey and Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page and Rusev. And I do like the pairing of Ethan Page with Rusev. It's probably the most interesting Rusev has been in months. What did you think?
It's I was a fan of the match. I did like it. I liked Rey Mysterio returning to the baggy gear, like the classic days. It brought a little out of me. I got a pop from seeing him with the old school look. I hope he keeps it now. Definitely fits more than him wearing the stuff that he was normally wearing there. The outfits, it wasn't clicking. Rusev and Ethan Page is a different pairing. I do like it for the simple fact I think Ethan Page can work with anybody in a pairing. You see what he did with Ricky in NXT. He can work with anybody. You saw what he did in AEW. Him and Scorpio Sky. He can work with anybody. Yeah, he can work with anybody. So I'm enjoying the fact that they put them together right now in the mid card division. It's looking good for Ethan Page. They really are enjoying everything that he's doing. WrestleVotes put out a tweet about it. The company really likes Ethan Page. Yeah. They do. You could tell. You could tell. I'm glad that he's finally getting the spotlight that he can show. He's been able to do this for a long time, but he wasn't utilized correctly in other places. And I'm not just talking about AEW. I'm talking about in Impact Wrestling too. He wasn't utilized to his full potential, but he also puts blame on himself because of his physique and he wasn't in the best shape and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he did what he did. Now him being in WWE on Raw in the mid card division, I think later into the year he's going to win that Intercontinental Championship. I think Javon Evans will win the Intercontinental Championship before he does. I think Ethan Page will take that title from Javon. I think that'll be a nice little program that they run there again. Yeah. But yeah, this was a nice little match. It was good to see Dragon Lee come back. He posted 13 days ago now that he was 2 to 3 weeks. People were wondering what he meant by 2 to 3 weeks. I had to put out a report that he was banged up after Mania from that ladder match. He took some nasty bumps in that match, so he was recovering from being banged up. Good to see him come back. WWE is really a big fan of him too. They try to showcase him. If you've noticed over the last year and a half or so, he's been showcased pretty much every single week. They had the confidence to put him in a tag team with AJ Styles, win the WWE World Tag Team Championships alongside AJ Styles, doing work in AAA too. So he's a dual player at the moment, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with him now that he's back. Like you said, it's probably going to lead to a tag team match, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee against Rusev and Ethan Page, with Penta looming. So we'll see what happens there. Fightful had the Raw rundown last night, and they had the winner already, so I knew who was winning the match regardless. But yeah, they for what they had, Rusev is an underrated worker in my eyes. He can work. It's just a lot of people just don't connect with him because of his character. But I think it was solid for what it was.
It's fair. Then we get backstage, and an irate Adam Pearce is reading the riot act to Austin Theory after all his attacks during the night. He's had enough, and he kicks Theory out of the arena. Theory says that it wasn't enough after what happened to the rest of the Vision. Pearce told him again that he was done for the night, and Heyman settled things down and walked out with Theory. They walked past the Alpha Academy. As they left, Otis and Akira Tozawa weren't impressed and said that kid is no good, while Maxxine Dupri said to cut Theory some slack, says that he's been through a lot and she'd catch up with them later, and Alpha Academy looked confused by this. I guess Alpha Academy doesn't watch the show and hasn't seen Maxxine talking with Theory this entire time or being in their car like a week ago. So maybe they're confused by that. They need to watch Netflix.
That's what Liv Morgan mentioned a few weeks ago. I shouldn't have to watch Netflix to find out that you were backstage in the clubhouse talking to Finn Balor. So yeah, I guess the talent need to watch the show to find out that stuff's been going on in the background, because the seeds have been planning for a month and a half or so. Every week you'd see in the background Austin Theory talking to Maxxine Dupri. Now my question is, what are they going to do with her? Are they going to turn her heel now? What happens? Is she going to be in the middle? Are they going to run Division in Alpha Academy now? It leaves the big questions. I don't know about that one. I don't know. It seems like when Austin Theory walked by her, she kind of had a lust for him at the moment.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think Cam Hendricks will be very happy about that though.
She was doing this. She was doing this for Theory. She was like, my time, showtime.
I don't think Cam Hendricks will be very happy about that one, but yeah, I'm just wondering where they're going to go with this, because if they do put her in the Vision, who are they going to feud with? What is she going to do? Who's going to be opposing her? The mini program she did with Natty didn't really do her any favors. I mean, no. At this point, you have to try something different. She had a nice little Cinderella run with the Women's Intercontinental Championship, thanks to AJ Lee. But at this point, what do you really do with Maxxine? She has grown leaps and bounds in the ring since she began. She didn't really have much time in NXT. She just got thrown to the Wolves to come up to the main roster and be Maxxine Dupri one day. The old fella made the decision. The old guy made the decision, hey, we're going to bring this person in from NXT, and they're going to be Maxxine Dupri. So she just got thrown into that role, and I think she has excelled for what she's been given. But I don't know if I can buy her as a heel with this group, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't see it either, and I still think that she when she first started off, she was really, really bad because she didn't know what she was doing. She has improved, but she's still pretty green. So I think that it's been a detriment to her that she didn't start off she didn't stay in the Performance Center for a little while longer. I think she's learned on the job, but she's still pretty green. I wouldn't mind her being kind of a love interest or valet for Austin Theory for a while she gets reps now that WWE is returning to house shows.
Yeah, I definitely you bring up the house shows. They just keep adding more and more. So I'm kind of I think that'll benefit them. Not doing as many as they used to before. They're not going to work 300 days, but I think adding you can do 10, 20, 30 more house shows a year on top because they only really do house shows during the international tours. So for them to do more domestic house tours now in the summer and potentially in the winter, depending on how the summer goes, which I think the summer it's more affordable. People are going to be able to go. So I think they're definitely going to buy into that and run them in the winter also. I think that'll be beneficial for all who participate because they don't really get to everybody doesn't get to wrestle every week. So Drew McIntyre mentioned in an interview, he said, I only get to work like once every 2 months in the ring. So I have to keep myself up on my toes. It's kind of hard. It's like with a fighter preparing for their fights. So it's basically the same thing. I think the house shows will do a little bit of it. It'll definitely help her if that's what they're doing.
Say hi to Corey.
Hi. I'm playing a big game.
Oh,
so you can make blocks.
Oh, okay. You said hi to the people?
Hi.
You want to show me the game? Okay. Thank you.
A carrot?
Oh, that's interesting.
We love special appearances every time.
Absolutely. The people haven't seen Harlem in a while.
We love it every time I'm on. She goes,
yeah.
Hello.
She knows now. She knows it's you. So she's like, "Oh, I'll feel free to jump on in." People are happy to see you in the chat.
I say hi.
You don't say hi? Hi to the people?
Hi.
Occupied. Very occupied.
She's busy. All right, but there's only one more segment to get into. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video, share with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the channel. We're here pretty much almost every single day here on the channel, pre-recorded and live streams here. We got shorts as well, so hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for everything that we got here. And it's time to talk about the closing segment of the show ahead of Clash in Italy. We got the contract signing for Tribal Combat, Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. This is the second contract signing that these two have had since before Backlash. You get Jacob, who comes out first with a horde of security guards surrounding him and filling the aisleway. You get Fatu signed the contract first, and then he started chucking leather chairs out of the ring. He starts moving the table, and he throws that out of the ring as well, right at the security guards. Security swarmed him into the ring, but Pearce settled them down. Then we get the music of the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, our world heavyweight champion. He signed the contract himself.
Making pictures.
He signed the contract himself, and Reigns told Pearce and security to leave them. Pearce thought that it might be smart for security to remain, and Reigns said that Fatu made a blood oath. He can't touch him until Italy. Reigns told them to leave now, so they did. Reigns told Columbus to acknowledge him, and they did. Reigns told Fatu that this could have been simple. After Reigns beat him at Backlash, he could have acknowledged him, and they could have just moved on to the next mission. Fatu said, hell no. Fatu wasn't like everyone else. Reigns was indeed the reason their family was living the life that they were, that their family was living on top of the mountain. Reigns elevated the family and took them to the promised land, but he can only take them so far. It was time for a change, and it was time for another destination. Fatu smiled and asked Reigns whether he lived by the bloodline's code at Backlash, or if he bent the rules just to beat him. Fatu knew Reigns did what he had to do in that match, but in tribal combat, anything goes. Fatu would dog walk Reigns' bitch ass. When Fatu took over all of this, everyone would face the consequences. Reigns says he was a man of his word. If Fatu beat him, he would be head of the table. Fatu would lead and Reigns would follow. But if Fatu couldn't dog walk him, Reigns would walk him like a dog. Reigns would domesticate him, and Fatu would serve him, learn from him, and in time, Fatu would love his tribal chief. Nice little callback to whole Fatu's whole routine when he first came. Fatu was on board with that and says this was a win for him. It was a win-win situation for him. Even if Reigns won, Fatu still had a job. Nothing changed there, but when Fatu won, everyone, including Reigns, would learn how to acknowledge him. He dropped the mic. He then stuck out his hand. Reigns shook his hand, and they touched each other's foreheads, and they had a touching moment between the two cousins before departing. This was very similar to the final go-home segment ahead of WrestleMania, where the Roman and Punk kind of said their piece, and neither one got violent after weeks of violence kind of increasing between the two. I thought that this was a nice little change of pace, but at the same time, I can see this coming off kind of underwhelming after the last couple of weeks, especially the week after Backlash with the big Raw that they did, and then last week with the 3-on-1 assault. This one kind of came off a little bit too subdued for a go-home segment, in my opinion. But what did you think, Corey?
I think it did. Not the shit. I think it did its job. The whole point where Roman went into business and told Adam Pearce and the security, get out of here now, leave. We both signed the contract already, so we've made an oath to each other that we will not touch each other until Sunday when we go to war in tribal combat. They both got their points across. Jacob Fatu's like, yeah, you say that I'm gonna acknowledge you like all these people here. Hell no, hell no. I'm gonna make you. I'm a dog walk your bitch ass. So Jacob Fatu, like I said, is a very interesting character, man. And it's not even a character. That's who he is. That's Jacob Fatu in a nutshell. That's Jacob Fatu in his entirety. Roman Reigns sitting there. He's a lot. I see a lot of people talk about Roman Reigns as a baby face. Not a baby face. Roman Reigns is deceiving. He's not a baby face. He's still the same old Roman. Did he ever apologize to his family? No. He's still the same old Roman. He's just causing different issues, and it's bringing more issues into the family. Jacob's just pointing them out. Jacob is just pointing out the flaws of what's going on, and of course, Jacob's like, yeah, I want this title. I need this title because when I get this title from you, I have everything, and you're gonna have to acknowledge me. Roman's like, yeah, if you do beat me, I'll be following you. You will be the leader. So everything comes down to tribal combat now. We talked about it a little bit earlier, how it didn't really make sense for them to do the whole contract for Backlash just for him to do it again right here. But I think tribal combat makes a lot of sense to end this mini feud, what they're doing. I talked about in the beginning of the show where I think one of the world titles is going to actually change hands. I think this is the one. I think this is the world title that changes hands because Roman Reigns, he'll be in Italy, the Raw after. Then he's taking a week off. Then he'll be in Baltimore. Then he's taking a week off. Then he'll be back in the States for the last Raw of June. I think something crazy is going to happen. Somebody's probably going to debut because they always have another member of the bloodline show up somehow. Somebody's going to do something because tribal combat, you're not supposed to have any interference, but it happens every time. It happens every time. You always get somebody somewhere else to interfere in the match. So I think that Jacob's going to end up walking out of this as the world heavyweight champion because what happens if he loses? What happens if Jacob loses? You just derailed all of his momentum that you built up over the last month or so. So I think If one of the world titles is changing hands, I think Jacob's the one that's taking the world title from Roman over Gunther, and because Gunther can still get the title down the line from Cody. I think Jacob, if he loses here, there's really no direction for him to go, because you're booking him as this guy who is unhinged, is rough. You're gonna book him to fall in line now, like he did with Solo. You're gonna have him fall in line and be a background character again? I don't think so. I think this time they pull the trigger, and will Roman retain or regain the title at some point? Yes. But I think you have to pull the trigger right now. If you're WWE, you have to. The iron is hot with Jacob Fatu at the moment. The crowds are reacting more. If you notice, they're chanting Fatu a lot more. They're booing Roman and they're chanting Fatu. So I think you have to pull the trigger on Sunday at Clash and give this title to Jacob.
I just don't see it. I don't think they're booing Roman. They are responding to Jacob, and he does feel hot. He does feel hotter than
you can't stop them. You cannot stop the momentum, because, like we've mentioned before, look what you did with Dom. Look what you've done with these people. You stop. You can't. It hurts their career. You can't stop these pushes, because at the end of the day, the fans are not going to respond. You have to strike while the iron is hot, and if you don't, then it affects the wrestlers. You have to do it. I know a lot of people think that Roman's gonna go into 43 as champion. I don't see that happening. I don't see Roman carrying the title for another year going into 43 as champion. I think you have him drop here. You have him go after the title again. He takes the title eventually, and then he goes into 43 as champ. But I don't think that you can have Fatu lose.
Oh, that would be interesting. It would be an interesting turn of events, for sure. I just thought that with the first hour of this show coming up on Sunday, I think they would want to do a title change to kind of entice people and make them feel like there is going to be a title change in the main event, and not necessarily do it, especially as considering also earlier in the show with the whole LA Knight and Jimmy Uso promo. The one thing I didn't mention is they didn't even put any doubt that it was going to be Jacob Fatu. They kept talking about LA Knight getting a shadow shot at Roman. So that's either them telegraphing that Roman's going to retain, or, like you were thinking, probably a red herring that Jacob is going to be the champion coming out of the show.
Yeah. They always do things on purpose, and I think that's definitely for good reason. Like I said, I think if you have to do it right now, even if it's a short title reign for Jacob Fatu, you have to do it. You have to strike while it's hot. Because the momentum, once you get rid of the momentum, there's no coming back from it. And if you're planning to have Jacob Fatu be one of the top guys for the years to come, because Roman's on the back end of his career now, you have to do it. You have to crown him, and you have to have him get that defining moment against his own family. Because like he said, Roman put it all on the table. Roman put the family up here. Now it's time to go in a new direction. It's time to go, for me, to bring the family to a different level. So I think that they have to do it.
We're going to see on Sunday. We got later on this week on Friday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. Myself and Maggie will be here to preview WWE Clash in Italy, and we'll see what our predictions for that will be. But we've made it to the end of Rated Raw Review for our review of the May 25th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw. Final call for super chat donations, but of course, if you're watching us live, watching us on demand in the live chat, in the comments down below, let us know your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, your moment of the night. Whether you gave the show a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give last night's Monday Night Raw? For me and Corey, for the May 25th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. I'll go thumbs up. Yeah, I'll give it thumbs up this week.
It's better than normal. I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I gave it thumbs in the middle last week. I thought this week was a little bit better, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I'll go a little bit higher than that. I'll give it probably a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think, like I said, there were two matches that I was really into with the Penta versus Javon Evans and the Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford. You had some storyline progression, character progression on this show. So I definitely look forward to seeing what comes out of Clash. I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out on top in these matches. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar. Do they keep the Oba momentum running? How do they book that match? And then the world title match. How Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu come out of that, and who walks into Turin on Monday as the champion? Who walks out of Turin and who walks into Turin as the champion? So I'm looking forward 100% to that.
Yeah, I thought the wrestling was better on the show with the two really good matches, and then everything else was fine outside of the women's tag team matchup. But I thought like the character work on this show was a lot better than recent weeks, especially with the Seth and Montez stuff, the LA Knight and Jimmy Uso exchange, and then of course Roman and Fatu. Despite it coming off a little subdued for a go home segment, I thought it was good character work for where they're at, even though that story has its flaws. Match of the night, I'm going with Penta and Javon. What about you?
Yep, I'm right there with you. Penta and Javon was definitely, it was the opener, was solid, and it's definitely match of the night.
The MVP for the show, I'm gonna go with let's go with Montez Ford. I thought he had a good effort in the matchup, and then the character work in the backstage segment was really good. Him kind of basically using that matchup as a therapy session to kind of accept the help from Seth.
Yeah, I'm going right there, 100% to also go with Montez Ford. Like I said, he had an impressive in-ring showing against Seth, and then the character progression, it was top notch for him. I've really liked the way that he's gone at Seth over the last few weeks, saying that no, I'm not helping you with this because I remember what you did. You're not clean. You're still the same old Seth. I don't care now that you're battling the people that you built. So yeah, and then to turn around and realize, yeah, the numbers game is in their favor. I need you now. So the character progression and what's coming from it, I definitely think that Tez was the MVP of Raw last night.
LVP, Brock Lesnar. That promo made no sense. He did not explain why he's back. He said he's a retired beast, meaning that if Oba Femi beats him the second time, he beat a retired version of him, which means that the win means nothing. And if he beats Oba on Sunday, that means Oba lost to a retired beast, which is worse than him losing at WrestleMania because he's beating the beaten down, humbled version of Brock. That promo was fucking trash. Like, he's the LVP for me. What about you?
Yeah, I was intrigued by the promo, but it came across very fucking bad. So yeah, he's my LVP. He's tied with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day are also my LVPs as a whole. But like I said, there's nothing. I don't understand what the hell they're still doing around. So
yeah, I think they are like the weekly inclusion honorable mention for LVP is the Judgment Day. And moment of the episode, you know what? No, I can't give it to Theory. I can't give it to Theory because he whiffed on the steel chair shot. I will give it to the final sequence in Javon versus Penta. The little reversals at the end, the hot finish. That was probably my moment of the show. What about you?
The moment of the show, yeah, definitely go with the closing 45 seconds to a minute of that match, because all the action going back and forth, both of them trying to hit their finisher and the reversals and the false finishers. Yeah, I definitely have to go with that as well.
So that's going to bring us to a close on another edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us live. If you haven't already, drop a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe if you are new, and give a big thanks to Cory for filling in this week for the good brother Top Guy JJ. Always appreciate talking about the grabs with my favorite reporter in the biz, Cory. Cory, let the people know where they can see you, follow you on social media, see all your great content, False Finish, and everywhere else. The floor is yours.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X, whatever you call it, you can follow us at False Finish HQ. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on all social media, Cory_Hayes407. I definitely post a lot on Twitter, so you can go and interact with me on there. I'll try and interact as much as I can, but the notifications don't stop on there. But yeah, love being here. Appreciate always being considered to come and join the shows whenever. I always make time for it because it's always a good time. We went 2 hours here, so definitely always a good time. And like I said, yeah, just go ahead and support the new venture with False Finish if you guys would. Appreciate you. Much love to y'all. Much love to you, my brother SP3. This has been great. I'll be back soon.
Yes, sir. We'll talk. We'll talk afterwards because I might want to get you on something else this week. So we'll be talking for sure. But you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat, Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we are not live here. And check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like the True Hill Heat flagship podcast from this past Saturday. The whole crew was there. Top Guy JJ, Miss Chrissy Love, True Draw Josh, me, True Draw Josh, and Don Escudero reviewed Saturday night's main event on Sunday. Check that out as well. And check out our incredible AEW Double or Nothing review where we broke down all the big stories, all the big matches, and why many of us think it is the greatest AEW pay-per-view of all time. We'll be talking more about that on Thursday. AE Ramble, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Jimmy Macaram reviewing the 3-hour special for AEW Dynamite and Collision. That is probably the next time I'll be with you guys live here on the channel. But like I said before, we got a Clash in Italy preview on Friday. The True Hill Heat flagship podcast will be back on Saturday, and we'll have some reviews of the AAA show, the Clash in Italy, and much, much more. So drop the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. For Cory, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our Rated Raw Review 121, Austin's Vision, for the May 25th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are signing off until next time.